Well, they demanded a $30 an hour minimum wage. In some cities, they demanded more. And it is already backfiring spectacularly. Now, look, I would never put it on people, for wanting a better life for themselves, wanting to be paid what they are worth. But we have this wonderful system. You may have heard of it. Leave a like on the video if you've heard of it. It's called capitalism. And it's set up in this wonderful way that if you feel like you're worth more than what you're getting paid, you can just go to another place that will pay you more money. Some other place will pay you more money. So you just quit that place and go somewhere else. See, the minimum wage is actually anti-capitalism, and it is a weird form of communism that nobody ever seems to understand the consequences of. Well, just a few weeks ago, California has passed a $30 minimum wage, but things are already falling apart. And Amazon has already made a pretty expected move to replace everybody demanding insane wages. Now, look, I'll say Amazon's pretty evil anyway. And if the minimum wage was $10, they would probably say that they would want to replace them with robots anyway, because robots are like slaves, and you don't have to give robots health insurance, and you don't have to give robots breaks. I mean, other than scheduled maintenance. But the move they made is also hilarious. Good news, bad news. California announces $30 minimum wage, but it still puts workers at half the poverty level there. You still can afford a KFC 12-piece bucket if California minimum wage goes to $30. Your hourly paycheck won't be enough after taxes like Social Security and Medicare. A large pepperoni pizza is $18.49 there, which is bonkers that they show Pizza Hut because it is the worst of the pizzas on the planet. Now, I challenge a Pizza Hut lover to tell me that they have a good pizza that I should get there. Look, I'm just a Midwestern guy. I grew up on chain pizza. I'm not from your cool, hippy-dippy Brooklyn town where you can get a $40 artisanal pizza. I grew up on Little Caesars, Pizza Hut, and Domino's. All right, Papa John's if I got lucky, if I was living near a big city. So a $28.99 12-piece chicken bucket or $17.50 for a Big Mac meal. It's almost like cramming up the wages on people. It's almost like, it's almost like the companies are just going to raise prices. Los Angeles' police announced it will be the first place on earth to have a $30 minimum wage. It would have predicted Honolulu, I'm assuming predated, Honolulu or London or Switzerland. But okay, let's roll with it. In fact, I'm 100% in favor of this. Minimum wages should be set by states and municipalities, not a bunch of octogenarians in DC who've never visited a place that it would apply to. Well, by the way, there should be zero minimum wage. But I'm glad you used your word of the day calendar and looked up octogenarians. The U.S. Bill of Rights, blah, 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 blah. Okay, then the second shoe drops. This year, you need $110,000 to stay above the poverty line in LA. Not just the city, the entire county of Los Angeles, all 4,752 square miles. This is up from 100,000 less than a year ago. I love math, so let's crunch numbers. Now, it's almost like demanding a never-ending onslaught of minimum wage increases might have something to do with it. Now, again, what do these high minimum wages do? Do they make companies make less profit? Do they make companies out there say, hey, we're going to make a little less money so we can pay our employees better? No. 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 Oh, you stupid communists. This is not how capitalism works. We see this, the best example of it would be the tariffs. There are tariffs that are increasing the cost of certain goods from certain nations. Did Walmart, which made $100 billion roughly last year, did they say, hey, we'll just make a little less money on these products? No. They just pass it on to the consumer. Now, the way capitalism works is that the customers should look at this instead of whining and complaining. They should look for alternative companies that did not pass that cost on to their customer, have faith that these tariffs will be negotiated, and take their business elsewhere. That's how capitalism works. Capitalism is not putting a taco truck in front of the Republican Committee Center. Los Angeles had a cost of living increase of 10% year over year. Something the rest of the nations aspire to? No. Poverty level. LA's newest stab at the living wage puts worker at half the poverty level. With those dreams of a better future still need DoorDash and Uber Eats delivery drivers delivering, quote, substances as a side hustle. This is why human Uber drivers will never go out of style. Oh, wait for the second half of this video. A robotaxi is not going to bring drugs to your door or offer tips on street corners that are popular after 11 p.m. Still, this is better than Nancy Pelosi introducing a bill to make $30 minimum wage in every state as a tactic to keep factories and offices from fleeing Biloxi, Mississippi. For the record, I do think it's a bad idea for Nancy Pelosi or Donald Trump to set policies which apply to both LA and Biloxi on things like legal weed or how far from a church a tapas bar has to be, milk expiration dates, and what type of stove I can legally buy. Well, see, that's where we're different. I don't think they should be allowing either. I don't think that states should govern what kind of oven I should buy at all. So I bring in the $30 Los Angeles minimum wage. San Francisco is sure to pick up the ball and run with it, followed by Palo Alto, Santa Monica, and the state capital, Sacramento. And California's 10% inflation rate. Politicians can hold press conferences and introduce new bills in 2026 to raise the minimum wage to $33.50. You're perpetually screwed in California if you don't already own a home. You will never keep up. Only land, gold, and Netflix subscription rates outpace general inflation. Forget about investing in eggs. If Bitcoin was the future, Taco Bell drive-thru workers would demand to be paid in it. But they don't because it regularly crashes 50%. Fanboys need to solve that problem if they want to be taken seriously. I'm not moving to LA or Biloxi. No place is safe. I mean, immediately blackpilling. And probably rightfully so. Gold, crypto, yeah, they're good. They're not the cure-all for everything. Bitcoin is not going to stop your average hourly worker from being replaced by robots in the next 5 years. It's coming faster than you think, and it's going to be probably one of the major, the biggest political talking points in the next presidential election. That's in my opinion. Amazon is now training humanoid robots to deliver packages. The robots will be driven around in Rivian vans to jump out and drop packages at homes. Future Amazon orders may be delivered to your door by a humanoid robot workforce. Let's see that happen in the hood. These things are going to have to be armed, although they have like superhuman strength, so they might be able to protect themselves. They'll get tagged and they'll get, defaced and all that stuff almost certainly. Amazon is developing AI software that will enable robots to operate as package delivery driver workers. I wonder if they're also going to be, going to those lonely housewives' houses and seeing if they have any leaky pipes to get fixed or whatever. The delivery workers are ferried around in Rivian electric vans and will soon be ready to start real-world testing in a new facility. Citing an anonymous source involved in the effort, the information says that Amazon has almost finished constructing an indoor humanoid park at one of the retail giant San Francisco offices that is roughly the size of a coffee shop. The obstacle course reportedly contains one Rivian van for training purposes, with Amazon aiming to have humanoid robots hitch a ride on the back of Amazon's electric Rivian vans and spring out to deliver packages. I could actually see this working good in rural areas. Delivering packages in rural areas is wildly ineffective because you have to drive, a long time between deliveries in some cases. You have generally a lot of room in terms of, walking up to a house. Like you're not going into MDUs or apartment buildings. Most of these are single family homes with a driveway. You can walk up, a walkway to the front door. Amazon is already using a variety of autonomous robots in warehouse operations, including a trial of agility robotics humanoid Digit a robot that was originally pitched for tasks like sitting in the backs of vans and delivering packages, alongside other logistics uses. Amazon's training facility is a concerted effort to make this original vision a reality. The information reports a variety of humanoid robots will be tested for package delivery at its facility, including a $16,000 unit based from China's based Unitree. Great. So the Chinese will now have not only access to where I live, but exactly what packages I order and what my house looks like. How cool. Hundreds of thousands of people currently handle delivery operations at Amazon globally. Amazon acquired the robotaxi company Zoox in 2020, suggesting a desire to fully automate end-to-end package delivery from warehouse to your front door. Now, we also know they've talked about drone delivery and all this stuff. I assume this is all just part of, part of figuring out, hey, we can't hire enough people that can stay off drugs. We can't hire enough people that show up for work. We can't hire enough people that don't want, that work in cold weather or warm weather or whatever. And on top of that, I get a lot of sketchy Amazon drivers. And so, at least I know that humanoid robot, it may eventually enslave me, but it's probably not taking pictures of my house to come back with their buddies and rob me when I'm out of town. I guess pick your poison. This was always going to happen, but the demand for insanely high minimum wage is only going to bring it about much quicker. Hope you enjoy the hellscape that has coming to us all over the next few years. If you want to go down with the with the ship with me, make sure you subscribe or follow the account. We'll talk to you again real soon.